Hey everybody, Shavin Nobody Else's Auto. We're here at one of my favorite places on earth, the Pioneer Village in Minden, Nebraska. This place is absolutely amazing. If you've never been here, you need to be here. They have everything here that shows the history of man's progress from the 1800s all the way up to modern day. Everything from toasters to airplanes, and literally everything in between, including over 300 cars and trucks. This place is amazing. We can see airplanes everywhere even too. They got airplanes hanging literally right above us. Cars everywhere. We're in the first building, which is the early stuff, and they have been cordial enough to let me behind the ropes to share a few things with you, including a couple of our favorite cars. If you've been hanging out with us on here before, Cords. We love Cords, and we do a lot of work with the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company, and super excited to bring you the two Cords in the museum, one of each. The L-29, as well as the 36, 37, 810, and 812. I believe this one is a 37. Starting off with the L-29 Cord. Now, this is definitely not a car you see very often, and this is a big, big car. It's a beautiful car. It's a big sedan, big wire wheels, dual side mounts, and you can really, if we step back, you can get a glimpse of the scope of the front end of this car. These were big, big automobiles, and they were beautiful. The big headlights, all the ornate decoration on the headlights. Amazing cars. Now, this car, as well as a lot of these other cars, were gathered up in the 50s. They started putting this collection together in the 50s. So this car being this is a 1931, it says L-29 Cord. And they started gathering these up in the 50s. So this car was a 20-some-year-old car when they picked it up. And in fact, we've got a little bit of history on it. The book that we've been using, Sister Clara's Letters. Clara was Harold Warp's sister. Harold Warp was the gentleman that put this collection together. His sister Clara helped gather up all the pieces for this museum. And we found some notes on this L-29 Cord in a letter from March 30th of 1955. March 30th of 1955, they wrote the letter to Harold Warp regarding the 1929 Cord L-29 automobile. They listed it as a 29 in here. They've got 31 on the sign that I called you about on Monday night. It is too much money, but it is all restored and looks like $1 million. I don't believe it will be possible to buy it for any less than 900 bucks. Now, it's crazy to think about that in today's world, but this was in 1955. This car was a 20-year-old used car. In today's world, you never see them. They're amazing automobiles, but that's what's great. They have this stuff documented in all these letters. You can go back and you study the pieces in this collection. It's amazing. So let's go ahead and take a look at this L-29. Like I said, big, huge flowing fenders, big wire wheels, knockoffs on the wheels. Inside, there again, this car was probably restored in the early 50s because this doesn't appear to be original upholstery or interior. And we come around the back, and there again, everything about this car was designed. Remember, we just looked at the headlights? Look at the taillights. They have the same design on the top of the taillights as they do the headlight housings. Big rear bumper sticking out here. Beautiful cars. Last tagged in 1954, the way it looks, come from Kansas, which corresponds with our letters from 1955 when they were trying to purchase this car. Craziness. So obviously there's the L-29, a car you never hardly ever see, but a very beautiful car, sitting right next to another beautiful Cord, the 1936, 1937, 810, 812 series of cars. Now, we've done a lot of stuff on these cars with our good friend Doug Prey at the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company. We've done a lot of studying on these. We've done some videos on them. We've talked about the transmissions because remember, this is a front-wheel drive car, and our transmission actually is right up under this cover. We've actually got a video on how that transmission shifts. The transmission's up here. You couldn't have a stick up through the floor with the transmission being up here on these 810, 812 Cords. These are amazing cars though. Hideaway headlights right here in the pontoon fenders. Manually, you had to crank those up. Beautiful lines on this Gordon Buick design car. This is a beautiful deep blue with a burgundy interior in it. And we can look at that dashboard, we can look at that shifter over there, And just like we saw in the videos from the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company about how that shifter sent commands electronically to a vacuum canister to shift these front wheel drive transmissions on these cords. So super cool pieces of history sitting right here beside each other, the L-29 as well as the 810, 812 style cord in the Pioneer Village collection. It is amazing stuff. Now, the people here at the museum, we were talking to them about some of this stuff, and when Harold Warp was still alive, you got to remember, he has over 300 cars in his museum. And they asked him, Harold, what's your favorite car? Out of all these, do you have a favorite? I mean, you have hundreds of cars. Everything from the earliest Ford known to exist up until the cars he was driving at that day. So they said, what's your favorite? How can you pick? You have hundreds. And he always chose one. And that was this blue Cord. This was his favorite car. He said the performance was great. It was fast. He loved it. Harold Warp always singled this one out as his favorite piece, which pretty tough to argue with that. They're a beautiful design. They're an amazing car. They were extremely technologically advanced for their time and an amazing piece. There's nothing else out there like them. They're a gorgeous car, and they are definitely a piece of that era of history. And you've got to remember, these cars were built, the L-29 Cord right at the beginning of the Depression, the 810, 812 right at the end of the Depression. That's why there's not a lot of these cars out there. These were premier luxury type cars. A lot of technology in them with the front wheel drive. Not something that was common. Most people were lucky if they could afford an old Model T at that point in the Depression. So these cars, there were never a lot of them sold. There were never a lot of them out there, and even fewer today, and you never see them. So amazing pieces of history, as well as everything else in this collection. You can look down the row and see a glimpse of what is here. And remember, we're in one building. One building. They have several buildings of just cars. These beautiful cords just finish up this line right here of more amazing cars. Look at this Lincoln. And this Pierce Arrow. I mean, these things are just stunning, stunning designs. Beautiful works of art. Look at this massive Mercedes-Benz. And check this thing out. A Rolls-Royce, 1929 Rolls-Royce. And we'll finish up this row real quick with, look at the size of this car. This thing is massive. How long it is, how tall it is. The Meteor, a 1924 Meteor, the Meteor Motor Car Company. Absolutely amazing. Like I said, if you've never been here, you need to get here. You need to check this out. We're standing under another airplane here, actually, a twin-engine airplane. We're standing right underneath it. That's how awesome this collection is. If you've never been here, you've got to check it out. It's got to be on your bucket list. If you like cars and trucks especially, but they have guns, airplanes, cash registers, toasters, kitchenware, trains, everything. Anything you can imagine, it's here. You've got to check it out. It's an amazing collection. The Harold Warp Pioneer Village, Minden, Nebraska. Do not miss it. Check it out. Be sure to check out the playlist for other samplings of this awesome collection. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed the cords. More cool stuff to come. Thanks for watching, everybody.